may not get them to talk about. It was her manner, okay? It was her personality. She was highly personable, but she also had a way of going for the jugular unexpectedly. And somehow when you have that kind of interviewing style, it gets a lot more out of people than they naturally would want to give. This woman began her career in radio, I think all the way back in the 90s. I'm not sure how long she had been on radio, but she quickly became a standalone show. People used to follow that show. And the woman I'm talking about, a lot of you probably know by now, I'm talking about Wendy Williams of The Wendy Williams Show, which was suddenly canceled a few years ago after she seemed to go into an emotional and mentally unstable spiral, had a few breakdowns and situations that were unfortunately for her televised. Those things hurt her ratings. Those things hurt the ratings of the network that she had been with for so much time. And when she took a very long break, many say that she was forced into that long break. I'm not one who consumes that type of material because I've always told you, trash in, trash out, trash in, trash out. That's just how it goes. You can't lie to anybody, and you definitely can't lie to the Holy Spirit about what's inside you. The music you listen to, the movies you consume, whatever it is that you listen to, even the company that you keep, trash in, trash out. But it's hard to miss Wendy Williams. She was everywhere. She was huge. She was big. And then all of a sudden, she seemed to fall from grace, but hard. A very public spectacle, a very public fall. Her show was canceled. People said that it was very much against her will, that she was driven away, driven off TV, that she had enemies who finally, when she was having breakdowns, saw their moment to crush her lifestyle and her livelihood. But for me, it is quite evident that if you build an empire on gossip, which is a sin, then you definitely cannot expect to ride off into the sunset in peace. You build up a lot of enemies. And if your only lifestyle is trading in dirt, eventually, guess what? You become buried in that dirt. And so on the morning of September 6th, how God shocks me with an early morning information drop, to wake up on a normal morning where you're thinking, okay, I have to do this and I have to do that. Let me see about getting myself together. And as soon as you open your eyes, this is the kind of information that God is speaking to you. It can be very disconcerting, but I thank the Holy Spirit that after years of training, whatever it is that he gives me, it is later during the day that I'm going to start really pondering it. When he starts speaking, my job is to receive what he's saying and writing it down. And the first thing that God said to me when I opened my eyes that morning is, Wendy Williams is dead. That's what he said. Wendy Williams is dead. And so for a split second after he says that, I'm thinking, but she's still alive, isn't she, God? And then he clarified and he said, the Wendy Williams that everyone knows is dead. That Wendy Williams is no more. Yah says that this woman died some time ago. He said that Wendy Williams, the Wendy Williams who was on the radio show, Hot Something, whatever it was called, that Wendy Williams who was taking the calls, that Wendy Williams who was one of the first people to bring it out in public, that Sean Diddy Combs is actually in love with men, that he's a homosexual, and that he only uses females as a beard for his gay activities, because back then in the 90s, it would have been strongly frowned upon for one of the biggest names in hip hop and rap to come out openly as gay. That woman dropped that information a long time ago. She was vilified for it, cursed for it, dragged for it, but she is now being vindicated right now in this era of September 2024. God says that that woman who is known for the gossip shows, known for her show that she used to film here in New York City, being one of the hottest tickets in TV. He said that that woman has passed away, that she is deceased, and that she died a long time ago, and that the thing, he didn't say the person, he said the thing that is being put before you now as, oh, she's recovering from a strong mental breakdown and is having a hard time. You see the woman now, her eyes, they put her all over TikTok. Her eyes are so huge. She looks so discombobulated, so strange, so out of it. She looks like an animatronics. If we're honest, God says that that thing is not Wendy Williams, that Wendy Williams died a long time ago and has been replaced. And hear what the Lord has said. It is very short, but you have heard these things for a long time. And if you do not know that the people in power do this, you ought to know, because here in America, we are living on a sound stage. A sound stage is a place where movies are produced. A sound stage is a place where movies are produced. A sound stage is a place where animations and perpetrations of reality are put together through clever filming and the use of clever sound and the use of clever cinematography and the use of stand-ins and doubles and tricks of the eyes and sleight of hand and props until a false reality is put together and presented to the audience. America is a soundstage. Not even the sun in this country is real and normal anymore. And so if you are living in a place that is nothing but deception, lies, and set piece after set piece, scene after scene, and you don't know it and you're not aware, then you are in the midst of deceit. Your eyes are closed, and believe it or not, even if you are not among the famous people, you are in danger. The famous people know that they are in danger. If you haven't watched the prophecy that has Lupita Nyong'o on it, then please make sure that you do. The title of that prophecy is The Stars Will Fall Part 2. And that prophecy is twofold. One part is about Jay-Z and his wife Beyonce. The second part is a very candid look at a terrifying dream that God gave me about what happens to celebrities, what they go through, that they actually endure their own kind of Hunger Games, that they are regularly hunted, that they are killed, and yes, that they can be replaced. So God says that the Wendy Williams, the iconic personality, lover or hater, that everybody has known for all these decades, is actually dead, and that she died some time ago, and she has been replaced by a thing. Hear what the word of the Lord is. He says, they are killing people in Hollywood, and they will continue doing so because they do not want them to talk. They keep them controlled, and death is one of the means by which they keep them in line. Death is a very powerful incentive not to break rank, not to draw attention to yourself, and to stay obedient. They spread the threat to their families too, so that they will not risk their family members' lives in any attempt to escape the prison that they're in, or risk them being killed, even if the person in question gets out successfully. Wendy Williams is dead. So you can hear what the Lord has said. To those of you who have been with the blog a long time, this will not be new or strange to you. God has been revealing things that nothing is as it seems in the United States. And now something that he clearly says, I've been telling you since I started doing the celebrity prophecies a few years ago, that they do kill these people, that they do threaten them with death, that these people, some of them who have not been able to do anything to change their situation, are to be amongst those who are pitied. You're looking at people, they have gold teeth, they have expensive watches, they have clothes that are the very highest price points, they have magnificent homes, they have access to every single indulgence that the human being could want, and yet they don't have freedom. They're not able to sleep at night. You try to sleep at night, you're being invited to a freak off or forced to go to a freak off. You try to sleep at night and you're being summoned to some sodomy ritual. You're being summoned to some secret occult ritual mass where you are the thing that is going to be served up, especially the women, but also the men. You are on the menu. They're going to line all of you up. They're going to sodomize you. You can find all of this in the sodomy ritual part 3 and 4, which is basically the prophecies Dirt of Hollywood part 1 and part 2. That they will basically ruin your body as a way of creating different altars inside, especially the young ones, so that they can control them. God has talked about these young people coming to Hollywood and basically being passed around. They come in with a dream in their heart. They come in with real talent. They come in with so much expectation, and then they just get brutalized. They get passed around for a while, and then they call that paying your dues. Paying your dues. You have to pay your dues to the record producers. That happened to B2K. That happened to Corey Haim and the other Corey, who was not able to bear the pressure of his Yes, Corey Haim is the one who was not able to bear the pressure of the sexual abuse that he suffered, and he took his life. The other Corey is still alive. I can't remember his last name right now, but those of you who are used to him, the kids who were in the Goonies, I think that was from your time, you know him. He's been talking for years that Hollywood is a pedophile ring, and everybody would mock him because, of course, America is the home of the mockers, the scoffers, people who consider themselves so wise. Why would a celebrity rape children? Because they're rapists. Because they're rapists, because children are vulnerable, because children are small, because children have idiot parents like Usher's mother who handed her son, her little one, her 14-year-old boy, over to a grown man and let him spend 2 to 3 summers living in Sean Combs's house. Because parents are wicked, and when you dangle dollars in front of them, they become pimps. That's why. It's not actually hard to listen if you have a Christian heart that is motivated by listening to the cry of the innocent and by believing God when he speaks. A lot of this abuse, to be honest, if Christians had dared to look, not with groupies' eyes, not with shiny glitterati eyes, worshippers' eyes, but if they had dared to actually look and think and question, they would have seen another story developing right in front of them. They do kill them. They use death to hang it over their head, to keep them in line, to keep them from talking. Death is also, as you hear God saying, a punitive measure. Wendy Williams had a lot of enemies. I'd never need to meet her to know that. Anyone with a big mouth has a lot of enemies, so-called big mouth in America. God is always showing me dreams of my own self and the darkness that is in the hearts of the people in this country. And don't think that I'm actually talking about the powers that be. They're only one part. God shows me the darkness that is in the hearts of the very people who sit and come to this channel and stare at my face all the time. My channel numbers don't actually match the views that I get. The numbers, the views, and the comments, they don't match. A lot of silent but wicked serpent-like beings barely hanging on with their fingernails to the term human. Come here and watch. And there's nothing but malice in their heart. God shows me. He shows me all the time. Death is a powerful incentive to keep people in line, to keep them from talking. But also death is a powerful punishment. It's a punishment that can only be inflicted once upon somebody who, for instance, may embarrass the elites by having a malfunction on stage, by having a breakdown on stage, by perhaps angering the wrong person, by going after the wrong person in an interview, by saying too much, by pushing too hard, by getting one of the top A-listers who told you she only wants these questions. And then when you have her on the couch, you begin to say things out of pocket. And she's looking at you and she's trying to tell you with your eyes, this isn't what we agreed. But because you've got her on camera and you know the ratings will spike if you can actually hook the information out of her, you keep going. And then she gets off the stage and maybe she makes a call or two. Miss Williams' life melted down quite spectacularly a few years ago. And then all of a sudden she was whisked away, exactly the way Miss Joan Rivers was whisked away. And then when she came back, she's not quite what she's supposed to be. That lady literally looks like an animatronics. The only single person, if you don't know what an animatronics is, look it up. It is a hideous type of functioning puppet. The only person in Hollywood who matches the way that woman looks is Randy Jackson. Randy Jackson looks like he was made of a certain type of rubber that was put into too high heat and then brought out. Randy Jackson's hair in some pictures, his recent appearance. Al Roker is another one. I'm telling you that these people play in our faces. But the only people who can see it are the people who you spend so much time in front of God that literally when you come out of his presence, it's like your eyes are peeled. You just can't accept nonsense, even when nonsense comes out. Ever since, for instance, I did the Beautiful Man series, every single person that I see advertising sports gear, advertising female clothing, advertising female underwear is a man. It's so obvious to see the trans. It's so obvious to see the transvestites that are everywhere. It's so hard to find a real woman. Their necks are like cranes and swans. All the male attributes are there. And that hateful stare of a man looking out from magazines, from print ads, from TVs, from movies. I watched something recently. There's only 2 women in that thing. The whole thing, there were only 2 actual born female women. Every single other role was being played by a trans. You spend time with God, he'll open your eyes. If you care to actually allow God to have a voice in your life. Randy Jackson looks like he was made from a dark brown rubber mold that was then put into a Texas day and left. You know, one of the days that Texas has that can cook eggs outside? That's what he looks like. His hair looks painted on. I saw the man and I said, God, why do these people insult our intelligence like this? And then they will tell us, oh, he went through an illness. They will take Al Roker away and bring him back and then tell us he went through an illness. One of these, I think it was a basketball star or a football star. I'm not sure which one. This person froze in public. This man froze. I mean, he came to an actual stop like a doll for over a minute. He could not move. The cameraman was standing there, pushing his hand in front of him, tapping at the back. And then a slim female in a suit comes along. She taps him at the back, and all of a sudden, the man starts moving. But when I was telling you here years ago that this nation is seeded with dolls, with actual walking, functioning, talking clones in our midst, then everyone it's too far-fetched. Far-fetched is fetched. Fetched is already here. It's already happening. Shaq has frozen on camera. Katy Perry has frozen on camera. Not everything you see is what it purports to be. Troublesome stars get taken away and killed, and a thing is brought back. And for some reason, on the 6th of September, 2024, the Lord just thought it was imperative. I don't watch Wendy Williams. Wendy Williams' conversation is not for a girl like me. But he just thought it was necessary that it be known that this woman is no longer with us, that she's dead, and that she's been replaced by a thing, and that death is a punishment for those who go beyond the mark. Just like death is a very powerful incentive that keeps stars from breaking rank, that keeps the mouths of stars closed, that keeps them smiling and perpetrating the puppet life that they sell to everyone, that keeps them from drawing too much attention to themselves, and that keeps them staying obedient. And God says that not only do they threaten the stars with death, that they will kill them and replace them with something else, that because the audience is so blind and the audience is so dead itself, these people come out and they will do demons in the concert, and you will scream more, more, because they're going to hell, and the consumers of the hell content is right behind them. You see a person like Nas X doing what he's doing, and you're still going to the concert, you're right behind him. There's room in the car that's taking him at Concorde speed into hell. There's plenty of room on that ride for those who need to follow that. The threat is not only to the star. God says that they spread the threat to them, to their families as well. Miss Jennifer Hudson has lost another set of family members. So when she first became famous, lots of people related to her, important people, close blood related people, mysteriously burnt up in a fire. But now it's time to move to the next level. All of a sudden, 2 deaths at the same time in this woman's life. The threat of death, God says, is spread to the family members as well. And he says what that causes is that the stars don't want to risk the lives of their family members. Some of them, at least, not all of them. Some of them just want the money and the next level that Baphomet has to offer them. So he says that this threat of death is sometimes enough to keep a lot of people in line, because they don't want to risk their family members' lives in an attempt to escape the prison that they're in. And he says that even sometimes when the star is able to get out successfully, if there was a way for a person to escape that famous life, escape the rituals, escape everything that they're being asked to do, forced to do, made to do, or even everything that they've been willingly doing, and they want to have a change of heart, God says that